As long as I am here, I will work with progressives, with moderates, and yes, with conservatives to preserve this nation from a threat that so many of our heroes fought and died to defeat.
As Robert Costa and Sean Sullivan write in the Washington Post, quote, Bernie Sanders' address at the Democratic National Convention on Monday night will effectively close an improbable odyssey, two bids for the White House that together formed the backbone of a new insurgent liberal movement. Back with us tonight, Donna Edwards, former Democratic member of Congress, now a Washington Post columnist, and David Jolly, former Republican member of Congress from the great state of Florida, who has since left the House and his political party, but we've told him repeatedly he has a home here with us. Congresswoman Edwards, first of all, let's talk about Bernie Sanders and the best-looking pile of Vermont firewood any of us have seen, to the substance of his speech and to the two factions of this party that you know well are out there in the Zoom viewing audience. They would normally be in there wearing funny hats in the hall and hooting and hollering and making a lot of noise.
Well, I thought it was a very interesting speech for Bernie Sanders because he really gave the plausible argument for conservatives and for progressives to unite behind a more centrist Joe Biden and Kamala Harris presidency. He made that argument on energy and climate change, on issues related to the economy and a minimum wage. And he said, well, but we also have differences. So he didn't want to sugarcoat that, which I thought was really important because otherwise he would have lost his validity. And the way that he did it said to them, we're all in this behind Joe Biden and Kamala Harris because we know that the alternative of Donald Trump is not going to move us anywhere we need to be on our agenda. And then he said to progressives, and by the way, we've already had a really tremendous impact both on this candidacy and on the Democratic Party.
David Jolly, I mentioned earlier the president called John Kasich a loser today, and then I note Chris Christie tonight said this about John Kasich. He's a backstabber, and he's an untruthful guy. On top of all that, he's exhausting. I'm guessing that means that John Kasich's words had an impact with their intended target.
You're exactly right, Brian. John Kasich landed a few punches tonight. And look, I think the open question is, did John Kasich's remarks tonight and perhaps throughout the campaign, are they going to convince any voters or do they merely reflect where a number of voters are? John Kasich kind of had a full embrace of Joe Biden, the man, but acknowledged that perhaps he's not in full agreement with him on policy. And I think a lot of voters find themselves exactly in that space 3 or 4 years into a Trump presidency, where perhaps ideology is not the number one factor that is informing their votes going into November, but rather this coalition around the shared core values of law and order and decency and political leadership. That was the message we heard from John Kasich tonight. And again, whether or not it is convincing or simply a reflection of where voters are, what we know is it is truth for a number of Republicans and former Republicans. The reason Donald Trump and Chris Christie are reacting is because what John Kasich did tonight was he spoke words that reflects where a lot of Americans are, and it shows up in the polls when you ask people, you voted for Trump in 2016, but not in 2020. Why? Same reason John Kasich gave tonight.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.